On the oil stream, brought to you by Boston Pizza. Dusty and Tommy Gazzola with you. Thank you very much for being here. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, tell your friends how easy it is to consume our content. And yes, they can text us anytime at 780-218-9999 if you're watching over on YouTube. That's where Quinn is, and she says, hi, Tom.
Hi, Quinn.
Hi, Tom.
Hello, Commish.
Hi, Tom. That was me saying hi, Tom.
Hi, Dusty. Oh, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, my man. Pasta Tuesday prices all day, every day in January. Pasta Tuesday, every day.
I'll be having a lot of pasta at BP because it's very good.
Pasta January. That's what it is at Boston Pizza. $15.99 for all gourmet pastas. And, of course, they come with delicious, delicious garlic bread. Garlic toast, garlic bread.
I think technically both work. Both are correct.
It is funny, though, because it has been toasted, so it should be garlic toast.
And I like the level at which BP generally, and they're very consistent.
Hey, Hernan, before you leave, I just want to say great job today on the transitioning over there. This guy's getting real good at that now.
And we troubleshooted. We were dealing with an echo when we had people patching in, and Iwanek found something.
He found out.
I think he found out. Him and Hernan worked on it.
God, look at these guys.
And it was when people were joining remotely.
Holy smokes.
It was subtle, and it was only in some places. Our engineers, as we call them, are very astute.
It's basically just whoever's sitting next to the piece of equipment at the time.
And knows how to
sometimes
push
it works,
the right button.
Sometimes it might not.
Yeah.
But for the most part.
Are you taking all those cookies?
Yeah, who dropped off cookies?
Pat did. Oh, that's a sandwich.
Is it a turkey sandwich?
I just had one.
Oh, prosciutto. Fancy boy. What?
That's an Italian sandwich.
Sounds like an Italian Center special right there.
Sounds delicious.
All right, if you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. You can chime in. The Edmonton Oilers not in action tonight, but there's lots to discuss. Glue Guy, what is this?
Oh, get that out of here.
Oh, you gross bastard. Oh. Glue Guy just dropped off a thing of herring.
That's pickled herring.
I'm going to have to try this tomorrow on the show.
Well, we
hit 11K.
Yeah.
It just wasn't this. Look at this. There's like just chunks of fish. I don't even want to smell this. I'm going to puke tomorrow on the show.
Yeah, man. I remember when a jar of that broke.
Oh my God.
I had to scatter because I was going to hurl. Yeah.
I don't even want
Just
this
put
here
it
right now.
Please.
Where's Hernan? Hernan, put this in the fridge.
Get this out of here.
Somebody come put this in the fridge.
Oh, I don't even want to touch it.
Ugh. Gross.
Blech. Thank you for
Can you put
subscribing.
This herring in the fridge?
Yeah.
I'm going to have one piece of that tomorrow and puke all over the desk.
You know what?
But did we know that it hit?
Not by midnight. That's why I say there's a controversy. I looked at midnight. I looked at like 11, and we were like 80 subs away. Then I woke up in the morning. All of a sudden, we were at 11.1.
It's either you eat the pickled herring or open your lunch kit that's been in there for 3 months.
Gross.
Actually, the lunch kit's empty. I did look in there.
Also, why are we back at 11,000?
That's why I feel something sketchy. Because I think you can go and like buy bots for subs.
We didn't buy bots. We don't do that.
No. But I'm wondering if anybody can do that for any channel.
I don't know.
So did somebody go and pay for the extra subs just to get me to eat the herring, and now the numbers have come down a bit? Or did the Reddit push get us up there, and now they've come back down a bit just because people are like, oh, I subbed just to get that, now I'm out?
No, I hate these guys.
I don't know. It's something's weird. But we didn't, like,
Something's
I'm pretty sure.
fishy.
Yeah,
Something's fishy.
I know what you're doing there. Yeah. You didn't need to explain to that. I got it the first time.
I wasn't sure.
But yeah, so I don't know. We'll discuss tomorrow. I guess now the option is there with the herring.
Yeah.
This guy is in. I've never seen this person before.
Glitter?
Yeah. Have you seen Glitter?
I haven't seen Glitter in a while. But
Nothing wrong with pickled herring. Delicious. Ugh. KD says, nice to see Mr. Part-Time Boss Man back in the saddle. Just kidding. It was nice to be away. It was like I was gone because I was sick for so long. But it's way better having time off when you're healthy. Holy smokes.
Yeah, you didn't. Were you relegated to the basement?
No, I was just involved with the family. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time. But I'm happy to be back. Tommy, tell me what I missed with the Oilers. I do disconnect a little bit from it while I'm gone.
They are a contender, and they're living up to that. Some would argue that the wins aren't coming the way that they would prefer, and I'm okay with.
Oh, it's that type of year.
It's that type of year, and at least that this is the problem we're dealing with when it comes to the Oilers. So They're in a good spot. They're winning games. Listen, are they doing it perfectly? Nope. I feel like from an optimistic point of view, I kind of said this a bit on Saturday on the post-game show. It seems like they're starting to build something very, very strong here. Have there been little blips here and there? Absolutely. Last weekend prior with LA and Anaheim, certainly, but no, they're in a good spot. Reed and I were going over their last, I think since November 9th, the 18-5-2 or something like that. They're cruising. This is a contender showing why it's a contender, and I expect them to start pushing the Vegas Golden Knights.
I was going to say, still a little bit behind the Golden Knights. Golden Knights are having a
amazing,
tremendous season themselves, but they're certainly not out of striking distance.
No.
I mean,
oh no, they're
continue to play the way that they have, and maybe Vegas, slips a little bit, and you have
Vegas
an opportunity
usually,
to snag that spot.
Vegas does catch a bit of a snag every now and then around this time of year. They have in the past. I think December was a tough month for them last year, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, they're good. This is a good team. Does it have deficiencies and holes on the roster? Not necessarily holes, but areas of improvement on the roster? Yep, absolutely. Will they be addressed? You would think so. Is anything imminent? No. And, they're cruising along quite nicely right now, which is great.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. I will follow it up with the one thing that you said, and I don't know, it's probably this way in other Canadian markets as well, but how ridiculous are we? And I'm not saying we aren't this way. It's not like fans and media or one or the other. How ridiculous is it that people complain about the way that they win? You know what I mean? I guess that's what happens when you have a contender.
I like to joke about it because, I've said it last year, I'll say it again, there could be a day where this team wins a Stanley Cup, and it may be in the near future, and there will probably be happy Oiler fans out there that will say, and will get the text on the post-game show after they clinch a Stanley Cup, their first in 35 years, or whenever it happens, and they'll be like, yep, but they should have swept the final. Or, yep, but they could have won it in 16 games instead of 23. There are fans out there that can just never be satisfied, and that's okay. That's how they ingest Oilers hockey. But how ridiculous is it? I think I would say it speaks more to the passion of the Oiler fan, Dustin.
People care.
And then I think the large majority is a silent majority, except when they have a thought that they want to chime in from time to time. But I think most people get it. This is a good team rounding into form again. We saw it a bit last year. Obviously, last year was an extreme with how bad they started, but they're on track. I think that's a safe way to put it.
I just added Herringgate to our list of Esty nominees for Controversy of the Year.
Oh, good.
Because we don't know if it was there at midnight. It blew my mind. I looked the next day. I was like, 11.1. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
Because we got 200 overnight, which just, I don't know. It seems strange.
said something about Reddit. I'm not a big Reddit person.
Does Reddit have that much of a push?
I don't know.
I've never been on Reddit, really.
I thank everyone who got us to 11,000. Apparently, this is the tough sledding part. It's post 10,000.
Yeah, that's what Huss said with Winnipeg Sports Talk too. They had to grind to get 12, 13 type of thing.
We'll hustle. We'll get into the trenches and we'll work our butts off. That's not going to change. But we've got some tricks up our sleeve, I think.
Here are the 4 controversies we've already had since September.
This is an Excel document.
Yeah, this is it
exists.
It's a shared document with all of our Estes nominees. Dusty helps YouTube Trev beat Jay to 1,000 followers.
Valid.
Chipgate. Someone eats 2 bags of chips and attempts to hide it.
That was not me.
Have we ever figured that one out?
My theory is that Joaquin did it to try to get back at me for Jerkygate.
What?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Strong theory.
Thank you.
I don't know if I buy into it, but it's a strong play on your part.
You hear that, Joaquin? He's pretending.
He's over there working.
He's pretending to do financial stuff. He can't do
Herringgate, and then Tom Gazzola attempts to kill Reed Wilkins with a peanut butter cookie.
Not
that
true.
might win. There's
funny.
still a long way to go to the next Estes. We got 8 months, but
now I did, and I said this to Pat when she brought in the cookies that she baked for us, which I had one. The Mars one was fantastic. I said, are there any nuts in these cookies? Because I don't want to go through what I did with Reed again.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is attempt to kill somebody and not finish the job.
Hang on a second. Holy smokes. I was going to say what did happen is I offered Reed a cookie as a good friend and colleague. I did not know it was a peanut butter cookie.
Yeah.
And then now this is up for an ST.
Yeah.
With Herringgate.
Gager, did you eat those 2 bags of chips?
He definitely did.
The chips that somebody ate, and then
chips?
See, that is exactly what the person would say.
You don't look at us like you don't know.
Remember,
what
it was like
about.
in September, October. There was 2 bags of chips that were jammed in the couch.
Oh, that was Henrik.
That was Eric. See, he claims it was Eric.
But this is what he did
why
last
it's a
time.
controversy that's up for the ST.
He deflects.
Eric said it was him? Oh, I missed that. Eric confessed to this. Yeah, I guess.
Oh.
I have been gone for like 6 of the last 8 weeks. So, all right. Well, good to know. I'm going to leave it on the list for now. But anyway, those are the 4 controversies so far. But we got a long way to go. Quinn says, if I don't get asked to present an award at the Estes next year, I don't even know what'll happen. Quinn, you should definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good time. What can we say?
is.
All right. So the Oilers practice today, and an interesting third line with Adam Henrik between Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman.
Good.
Kay Gill asking about this. He says he thinks there's a lot of potential there with that line. Also wondering what type of chips they were. They were small bags of chips that we'd been taking to tailgate, right?
That's right. There was a few left over.
Little ones.
The
little
snack
bags of
chips.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think there were Lay's. I think there was a Doritos bag and a Lay's bag tucked into the
You know what is
couch.
the end of the world, though? Honesty. Honesty's the end of the world, right? So that's why we need to know who did it.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, so what do you think of this line?
Skinner, Henrik, Hyman?
Yeah.
I think Kay Gill said there looks like a lot of potential there. I would agree with you. And I would add that am I surprised they're together? No. Just because we see the tap dance all the time with the coaching staff and the lines, trying new things essentially every few days. There's potential with those 3. Those are 3 good veteran NHL players. Skinner scored a nice goal the other night. He's been playing a little bit better after getting sat. That's good. He's getting results. Maybe he's starting to find his rhythm with the team. Maybe something good is building, and that's great. That's why you brought him in. Like if there, and I'm sure there's some out there that have given up on him, and I don't think that's fair. I think this line and why people might be intrigued by it or think it has potential, which I think is completely valid, is because those are guys that all possess good offensive abilities and play different styles. Now, I'd like to see Henrik play more offensive. He has not done that at all this year. I think Hyman is fine on any line. I don't look at it as a demotion for him. He's still with 2 good veteran players, like I mentioned. And then the other 2 lines, they're rolling just fine.
Yeah.
Connor Brown's playing well. Nugent Hopkins has a 3-game goal-scoring streak.
I'm
McDavid.
interested to see how the line moves, like skating-wise, speed-wise.
Yeah, is it
I
the
think
fleetest of
I think
foot?
it's a line
No.
that if it gets matched up against some speed, could find themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Sure.
But a real, I don't want to say it's a real good veteran third line because we haven't seen it yet.
How do you?
But I think it's a veteran line that you hope you can rely upon, and maybe Hyman and Henrik being more sound defensively helps Skinner overall look like he's playing better.
Maybe,
you know?
and they can keep him accountable too. Not that other guys couldn't, but I'm sure those are 2 guys that wouldn't have a qualm with trying to tell Jeff Skinner that he needs to do something a little bit better. How would you compare Skinner skating to Janmark's? That's what I'm curious, because as you're breaking that down, I'm like, well, Janmark isn't the fastest
know,
guy,
but I think he moves better than Skinner.
and he's more rugged.
His straightaway speed is better than all 3 of those guys.
And he can transport the puck himself. Now,
And
where it
he's-
ends up
in
who
this new
knows, but-
configuration, he's 4th line center instead of Derek Ryan, right?
Right.
And then
And I think we forget too, I'm guilty of this, that if they're in a jam late in the game or in the 3rd period and they need a goal, you can always shorten the bench. And that's why, and a topic that has come up quite a bit, especially last week, was how quickly they go back to the nuclear option. it's almost like a non-issue, the nuclear option. It's like, this is why you have those guys. In a perfect world, you can roll 4 lines all game long. Everybody's minutes are generally even except for special teams time. But that isn't how 98% of the games work in an NHL season. You got to move things around. And, the nuclear option, this. Now, I would have more concern if the nuclear option is starting most games and we're seeing them in practice for an extended period of time, as opposed to you need a goal or you're in a jam, you need some momentum. You got these guys on your team, send them out there. Now, that said, I would love to see the secondary players contribute more.
Okay, so this is. Did you hear the Connor Brown stat I had this morning? I
missed it.
Okay, so Connor Brown right now. This kind of stunned me when I was going through some stats last night. Leon Draisaitl has 43 even strength points. Phenomenal year. We'll get to him in a second with the spicy headlines. McDavid, 38 points at even strength. Evan Bouchard has 22. Connor Brown is 4th on the team in even strength scoring.
That's alarming.
With 17 points.
That's alarming.
Like, I saw that last night, and I honestly was like, what? I was tapping the screen. I was like, no, what's going on here? Where's everybody else? Why is Connor Brown 4th on this team in even strength scoring? But Draisaitl and McDavid so heavily at the top. I mean, among forwards, you got Bouchard mixed in there, but I mean, nobody else scores at even strength so far this year than these two guys. They've got 32 even strength goals. Connor Brown has 17 even strength points. He's 4th most on the team. Darnell Nurse is 5th. And then you get Hyman and Nuge at 14 even strength points, which ties them with Podkolzin, and they only have one more even strength point than Skinner. And Skinner's been like in the doghouse all year. So, Tommy, let me ask you this. Connor Brown being 4th on the team in even strength scoring, good thing or troublesome thing?
Surprising. I saw that. Good for him. Good for him, and it's showing that he's rounding into form, which is great. And then, a guy who should be there is Nugent Hopkins. A guy who should be there is Hyman. They have not had explosive offensive seasons. We've talked about that at length, and rightly so. Nugent Hopkins, a little bump up lately. Hyman, since he's come back from injury, I think there's only been 2 or 3 games of the dozen or so he's played that he hasn't gotten on the score sheet. So he's been better. I think it kind of maybe highlights that the start that this team and those guys had was bad. And that was a reason why it wasn't a great start for the team, although much better than last year. We have to reiterate that. But A, good for Connor Brown. B, highlights that Nugent Hopkins and Hyman are not having explosive offensive seasons. And then C, other guys could pick it up too. I mean, even like Bouchard, it's like.
Well, this is the other thing that came up when we were talking about surprising stats. Bouchard has no power play goals this year.
Well, he's a shin pad assassin.
How does Bouchard not have a power play goal?
I know. I know.
So what surprises you more? Because I ran a poll on this today. Connor Brown's 4th on the team in even strength scoring, or Bouchard has no power play goals.
Bouchard, no power play goals. And I think it was Tenser who tweeted at you yesterday.
Tenser who tweeted at
said
me,
that Ekholm has 3. Good for Ekholm and good for power play 2, getting out there and converting a couple of times. I think the Bouchard no power play goals is the most alarming thing out of those two, because I would look at the Brown having that many even strength points.
It's crazy that he's 4th on the team.
But if you want to be positive about it, you go, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
For him.
Because he's earning it, right? Like, and that's telling you that they're getting secondary scoring 5-on-5. Again, you want other guys to have more, but they don't. So I'd say, hey, Connor Brown's probably having a decent season.
I would also say that if you want to put a positive spin on Connor Brown having the 3rd most points among forwards for you at even strength, is that look how well you've been playing for the last month and a half, and it's without those other guys
contributing,
really contributing
to their
a
capability,
ton to what you would think. So, yeah, that was both of those stats are a little crazy.
Good digs on those stats, by the way. And just maybe it speaks to how dynamic this Oilers team is and where they're at in their life cycle, if you will, that you can have all these anomalies, I suppose we could call them. it's fun to talk about. And does it maybe look at or make us focus on other guys who are struggling and say, yeah, we could sure use a little bit more out of you? The answer is yes. And maybe those guys start rounding into form. The two guys that I brought up are doing that right now, and they've got some catching up to do.
You can text us, of course, anytime at 780-218-9999. Library Pat is in and says, guys, I have difficulty understanding Hyman not with McDavid, but 2K, that's Chris Knobloch, has proven that he's got the touch with roster deployment. And you guys are right. Nuclear option will get shifts almost every single game. So I trust his judgment. That's in from Library Pat. I think just because Hyman's just been stapled to McDavid for so long, it's weird not seeing it.
That's fair. I thought of it as a refresh. Mid-season, things can get stale a little bit, and that's what the shuffling of the lines and moving big pieces away from one another kind of is. And I think Gager popped in last week on the pre- and post-game show, and we kind of talked about it too. Sometimes you just need a zap of something for a week or two, and I'm sure, Library Pat, we're going to see Hyman back up there, going into the stretch, or maybe next week, depending on what happens. I don't think, I look at it as temporary.
It is the Oil Stream. We are presented to you by Boston Pizza, where it is Pasta Tuesday every single day in the month of January. So if you're looking for some lunch, you're looking for some dinner, Pasta Tuesday, not just Tuesdays, also a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Tuesday as well. Every day.
The ones that end with Y, at least.
Every day. Oh, that's a good joke, too.
Hey-oh.
Yeah, those ones are always funny. Let's get into your spicy headlines for Popeyes. If you're looking for a quick bite to eat for lunch today, why not swing through one of the many Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen drive-thrus and get yourself the delicious chicken sandwich. Here's what I want to discuss Popeyes headlines today. Leon Draisaitl's having a monster year.
Yeah.
Like, Tommy, what has to happen for him to win the Hart while McDavid is healthy in a season? Like how? Like
I think he needs a rocket.
Last time he won, how much time did McDavid miss? Over 10 games.
Yeah,
he missed. We can bring that up. I'm just trying to, because McDavid's missed 3 games, right? He's played 3 fewer games than Leon right now.
Yeah,
Leon has pretty much twice as many goals. He's got a slightly better points per game. He's got 9 game winners already this season, which is nuts.
It's insane.
Like he's been the better player from a production perspective so far this year. I'm just trying to think back to the year he won the Hart. How many games did Connor play?
Connor played 64 and had 97
so he missed
points.
like 18 games.
Well, that was the year that got cut short due to COVID. They played 71 games.
How many games did Leon play?
Leon played all 71.
Okay, so Connor only missed 7.
Yep.
And
he had 97 points.
And Leon still won the Hart.
So Leon played 7 more games and had 13 more points. 43 goals, 67 assists. He was on pace to have be the scoring leader anyway, I would say, probably. With Connor missing time, obviously.
But like I'm trying to think from a voter's perspective how these guys are going to vote on it. And how special does Leon need to be to win a Hart this year, even with pretty much a healthy McDavid the entire time?
He needs to win the goal scoring race.
Yeah.
And be 1 or 2 in final points.
Yeah. I was going to say, because what is it right now? McKinnon, Draisaitl, Rantanen, I think in that order, 1, 2, 3.
Let me look here.
And there'll be the whole McKinnon has Rantanen and Draisaitl has McDavid and all that stuff, and Kaprizov might win or whatever, however it works.
Yeah.
But like, part of me thinks Draisaitl has to score like 60.
He might. He's flirting with it.
Right? He's flirting with it pace-wise.
Yep.
If this guy snipes 60, and he's shooting over 24% right now, so that's probably going to come back a bit. He's like 24.2% or something. It's
on the button.
It's crazy. So that's going to probably come down a little bit. But I don't know how, even with Connor McDavid on your team, I don't know how you deny the guy a Hart Trophy if he leads the league in points and scores 60 bloody goals. Going to have to win it, which would give him 2 Hart Trophies.
He has more than double the amount of goals McKinnon has. I think that would be something that...
Yeah. How many does Rantanen have?
Rantanen has 23, so he's having a nice year.
Leon's at 29, right?
29, yep.
Yeah, like it's... But I guess the whole point of this conversation I wanted to get to is how bloody good do you have to be, I think, so far this season, a better player than Connor McDavid which is crazy.
He's been excellent.
Right?
And he's consistently since game 1 of the season. And
his plus minus, his face-offs.
Yeah.
Like he's been better than Connor in every single category except for assists, basically, this year.
Plus minus, only Jack Eichel, who's in the top 10, has a better plus minus at plus 25. I know that's not the be-all, end-all, and people look at plus minus differently these days, but it's an indicator of something. His face-off percentage, 56.6%. That's the best out of anyone in, the next closest would be Dylan Strome, who's got 44 points, having a great year in Washington. He's at 54.8. Leon's over 56.6. I think that's important. Leon's playing 21-11 a night on average. His even strength points, like you talked about, he's got 43 of them. He is, right now, very much in the conversation for the Hart Trophy, whereas Connor McDavid, who's quietly having a very strong season as well, is not in the Hart Trophy conversation, just because McDavid, I think, has set the bar and his own standards so high that this one's like kind of getting up there, but nowhere near his best.
Yeah.
And I think that has opened the door to McKinnon and Draisaitl, Rantanen, if you want to stretch it, to being the front runners. And I'm biased 100%. I like Leon Draisaitl as a person. I've known him for a long time. I would like to see him win it again. I really would.
Draisaitl having 2 Hart trophies in the McDavid era is
phenomenal.
I mean, it'd be nuts. But I just don't. It'd be tough to do.
Can I end this discussion with this point? He goes and he gets bank in the offseason.
Yeah.
Okay? Highest contract ever. Earns it, by the way. And then plays even better.
Yeah, good point.
Now that he has that extension. Usually guys settle in and they get comfortable. Because now we've all seen, throughout the years, we've all seen it. Guys in contract years play their hearts out and they get paid because they have a great final year of their contract. This guy goes and has a great year last year, goes to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. They lose, has a monster playoffs because he is a playoff beast. Him and McDavid you cannot deny that.
Yeah.
And guess what? Gets paid the big money and goes out there and is arguably having his best season ever. That's impressive. And I think that speaks to his mindset.
That's a good point. I mean, getting the bag like that, you could very easily just be like, all right, you
get comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't want to play hard tonight against the Islanders.
Let's get to a couple of your comments. 780-218-9999. We'll take a look at the rest of this trip here as well in a second. But 780-218-9999. Ethan over on YouTube in the Nasty Chat. And if you're watching over there, hammer the thumbs up for us, guys. That would be great. Is Henrik's game dropped off from last year badly, in your opinion? Hardly notice him out there, and his stats have dropped off significantly. Is he essentially 4C now?
No.
And is 3C on the wish list?
No. He's not 4C. Is 3C on the wish list? No. I think he's viable as 3C. It is alarming, a bit puzzling that his point totals.
He's on like a 7-goal pace.
Yeah, and last year he was a 50-point guy. There's a contract year type thing. But also, I think his role is different. He was supposed to be an offensive guy on a bad Ducks team, and he was. He came here as a deadline pickup, and he was put into a situation to provide offense, and he did, and he was playing well. This year, and I've asked him about this a couple of times, and he acknowledges it. He has had to change his role. He has had to take on more of the defensive burden, if you will, or maybe he puts the responsibility on himself. He's not playing wing. Remember last year he moved from center to wing. Yeah. He's been basically the 3C all year. And no, he has not looked anywhere near as dangerous as he should be naturally. I feel like he's probably trying not to take risks subconsciously, and you can see it in his game. I think that there's still a good player there, and I don't think they're overly worried about Adam Henrik. They'd like him to have more offense, but I don't think they're going, geez, he's a void on our lineup. No, I don't think it's like that. Ideally, he's contributing more. He's had looks too, and he just doesn't look as deadly and sharp as he did when he was here last year.
He's winning 54.3% of his faceoffs. He's only shooting at 5%. So that's your talk about it. He's had some looks. With that being said, and I understand where you're coming from with them saying, we're not worried about him. They'd like more, obviously. He'd like more. There are only 3 players on this team that have played more than 10 games that have a lower points per game than Adam Henrik.
Yeah.
They are Derek Ryan, who most people think is washed and probably shouldn't be in the lineup.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 are Stetcher and Emberson. Like, that's it.
I know.
The only guys with fewer points per game than Adam Henrik so far this season are Derek Ryan, Troy Stetcher, and Ty Emberson.
And that's not good.
Which is, that alone, that fact is concerning.
Yeah.
So
I think he's capable of more offense. Maybe he's still struggling to find that balance and he's playing it safe. I want to think that that's the case because I don't believe in the theory that a guy just falls off the way he has, 6 months removed from a Stanley Cup run where he came off a 50-point season and provided some offense in the postseason as well. I think he can find it again. Is this going to be a down year offensively for him? Yep. I don't think he's going to go on a heat or anything like that. But if he gets
he's 34. Are you worried that?
Yeah, when they gave him the 3-year deal, I was worried about that too.
Was it a 3-year or was it a 2-year?
3-year, I think.
Was it a 3? I just
3
looked it
year,
up. I
9
think
mil,
it's 2.
isn't it?
I thought it was 3 as well.
They gave Arvidsson
It says here year 1 of 2.
Oh, okay. That makes it even easier to swallow then.
Yeah. He'll be 36 and a UFA in 2026.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
I thought it was 3 as well, but it's only 2 apparently.
I think there's still some jam left in him. I don't know. You can get stuck in not a funk, but like a groove where it's like, well, I'm just going to take care of, I'm going to be overly responsible and apprehensive to try to do too much offensively. And to me, it feels like he's doing that.
Chris Runn says 6 mil, 2 years. Pender Pancake saying 3 years. Oh,
It is 2?
according to Puckpedia, it's 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I thought it was 3.
Ethan says Henrik better be the happiest guy that Skinner is on the team to take all the heat right now. if Skinner is out producing him. Skinner's 5th on the team in goals, if you can believe it.
I can believe it because he was brought in to score goals, and it also speaks to who's scoring all the goals. You got a guy with 29.
That almost blew my mind too. And I was like, Skinner doesn't get to play in the top 6, gets criticized all the time, is -10, the team worse.
Yeah.
But is also tied for 5th on the team in goals.
That reminds me of, I think it was mid to late November, and you brought this up. You're like, 4 of the Oilers' top 7 point getters are defensemen.
Yeah.
It's been one of those
It was a slow start for
years
forwards.
of anomalies, yeah. So.
Well, somebody in the chat said they think the Oilers lead the league in goals by defensemen.
And Jay had it last week. Their second most points by a D-man in the league as of last week. They might be up to number 1 now, but it was Columbus leading the way prior to that. And it was Edmonton
Well, that doesn't mean much then. If the number 1 team on the list is Columbus, I guess maybe it doesn't get one. Easy East saying, guys, is Henrik getting enough minutes? Tommy, he's playing 34, 14 and a half. So he's playing third line center minutes.
Yeah.
Well, that's penalty kill too.
And I was going to say too, if he winds up, say he starts clicking a bit more and he gets a bump up from that 5% shooting percentage, say he ends up with 12 to 15 goals and 30 points to 35 points. Are we looking at him as the third line center for $3 million as adequate? Because I probably would. If he's got you 30 points, 10, somewhere in the 12 goal range, and he's playing third line center 14, 15 minutes a night with PK time and no power play time, I'd be like, I think that's good for $3 million. I think you're getting your money's worth.
Let's continue with the text messages. There's a bunch of them rolling in here. 780-218-9999. Hampton Steve says, guys, Henrik's lack of offense is why I think someone like Bugstad, who could rotate third and fourth line center with Henrik, would be a good trade deadline pickup.
They're not getting Bugstad. I know.
Damn.
As much as I think that would be huge for them, they're not getting Nick Bugstad. We need to give up on the Bugstad thing. I'm surprised not more people brought up Puljujarvi last week. Thank you for not doing
I was
that.
off.
You were off.
Thank God.
People were talking about it in the press box.
Were they really?
Yeah, they were like, do you think Dusty would be wanting Puljujarvi back? I'm like, guys,
God, they got to let that go.
Ex-nay, Puljujarvi,
You know what's funny is that those guys hang on to my love of him more than I love him.
Yep. Valid.
Yeah.
Valid. I was like, at a certain point, Dusty, who does watch the team and has a good sense of what's going on, just did that as a shtick, right?
Part of it was your shtick.
And it gets forgotten.
I did like him though for a long time.
I know you did, and it was sincere appreciation.
But that would have like, man, do they think I'm that dumb? Like, there's no way that I would have said they should bring back Jesse Puljujarvi.
And I think it is because they like you and they think of you still.
Or they think I'm dumb.
I hope not, and I don't believe that.
No, because I'm not.
You are a smart young man.
Eden on the text line 780-218-9999. Hey boys, as another point regarding Henrik, he's not really fulfilling the classic third line center role, which is usually to win draws and play defense against top end talent. Draisaitl actually does more of that role than Henrik. Now they're both winning faceoffs between 54 and 56%. He's killing penalties. But I see what that guy's saying in that you give Draisaitl like the top. Like, you're not throwing Henrik out against Nathan McKinnon. You know what I mean? You're trying to get Draisaitl that matchup.
Yeah. And this is a problem or this is just a thought? Because, I don't know if it's a problem because they win, right? And they're one of the top teams in the league, right?
They're cruising right now.
Yeah.
Ryan from SK says, guys, I would like to see Henrik get a look in the wing in the top 6 just to get his offensive game going a bit. He was effective with Connor and Hyman in the playoffs, and confidence is huge. So
I don't mind
slide him up, let him pot a couple.
Switch him with Nuge.
Well,
when Nuge goes cold. He's hot right now.
Right? Yeah. Well, yeah, he's been hotter lately, right?
Yeah. He's got 3 in a row with goals and then 4 of his last 5. And they're not all power play points.
He's got 8 power play points this year with 14 even strength points, and 4 of his 10 goals have come with the man advantage. 780-218-9999.
Can I add in a spicy headline?
Nope. Sorry, Tommy. We got to move on. I'm kidding, buddy. What's the other spicy headline?
Oh, that was very smooth. And this comes in from Craig Morgan, who used to cover the Coyotes and briefly covered Utah. Unfortunately, Craig, I think he was let go. But he's still a PWHA member and a good reporter. He goes, newly elected Maricopa County Board of Supervisors Chair Tom Galvin announces the formation of a committee of political and business leaders to bring the NHL back to Arizona. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman confirmed that he met with Galvin before Christmas via Zoom. And this is something that, and I quote tweeted that, said, long live the Coyotes. And there's already been some comments and stuff. We talked about this on Hello Hockey for months and months, even as the Coyotes were on the verge of moving to Utah to become the hockey club. Pagnotta said there will be a team back in Arizona. And LeBron even added that when he quote tweeted Craig. The Coyotes, Arizona is very much going to be part of the NHL again. It's the arena and the owner. The last few ownership, even going back to Gretzky being part of that one ownership group in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a bad mix too. The arena in Glendale, there was a swing and a miss. It's like the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, which is they're gonna move on from that, go to downtown Ottawa. The Coyotes in the right place with the right owner, who's not using it as the team for leverage like Morello did. Morello was a disaster from day one. They could be viable, and that market having 6 million people in it, a history with the NHL there for 25 plus years, it's going to happen. They're going to go back there.
Gary Bettman gets it done again, hey?
That sly
This guy, he knew all
guy.
along. So if you go to Arizona, do you find another expansion team in the East?
Well, Atlanta is definitely on the
I guess
table.
Atlanta. Man, you know what? If you're gonna try Arizona again, I'd just give Canada a cookie and go back to Quebec.
And that'll never happen. They just it's like Montreal with baseball. It's a red herring. You can always go and you can negotiate against.
It's like
anybody.
real baseball with the Blue Jays. Just use them the entire time.
Yeah, Ohtani Gate. or what was it?
all
Otani Jet.
of them.
Yeah.
Otani
Soto
Jet.
Jet.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
that's a tough one.
And people are mocking it, and rightly so, because it was such a disaster. And when Utah rolled through here last week, a lot of the discussion around that franchise is it is a legitimate NHL club now. It's not, cutting corners. It's not an organization that doesn't pay its hotel bills and this and that. Like, it is a well-run organization, and that legitimacy helps create some stability and give the players confidence to just focus on hockey, which is clearly something that has not been the case. I remember talking in Arizona. I remember talking to David Schlemko in like 2011 or 2012 in the Coyotes locker room. And Schlemko played KC here. He's a nice guy. And I said to him, and he's like lots of mutual friends and stuff. And we were talking, and I'm like, how's it going here? And he goes, man, we don't even know if we're going to be in Phoenix next year.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? We don't know. And then I remember talking to Aiden Hill when he was with the Coyotes. And I'm like, how's it going? He goes, buddy, we're moving to Houston next year. Like, nobody's tied to Arizona right now. We know this isn't going to work out. Now, they ended up moving to Utah.
Yeah.
But these are players separated by, I think the conversations were about 10 years apart, on the team saying, we don't think we're going to be here next year. That's how messed up
That
the Coyotes
sucks,
were with their ownership, with their situation with the arena. The city cut the lease on the Coyotes. That's how bad it was.
That is bad. The city's like, no.
The Glendale was done with the franchise. Like, so many things. Anyway, it's just a spicy headline, and I know we want to say good riddance, RIP Coyotes, but they're a franchise in stasis right now. They're just,
Ooh, I like it.
They're just sitting there waiting to be reborn.
waiting.
Yeah.
Rip City Step with a funny one over in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Says, I heard that Buffalo might get a team someday. That's funny because they have a team, but they suck.
They suck.
Yeah, that's why that one's funny.
That's too bad.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in. Let's get into a little keep it or clip it. We'll get to more of your texts, so keep them coming in as well. EST Afternoons in 15 minutes with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. And then, of course, the Reed Wilkins Show from 3 until 6 with Reed and the glue guy, Jay Milne. I'll have that for you from 3 to 6 today, so you don't need to go anywhere. Get the best sports talk in the city right here on TuneIn, on iHeart, at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and, of course, on YouTube. All right, let's dive into Keep It or Clip It for Tommy Guns, the original barber shop. They believe a great haircut is more than just a quick in and out. It's about the whole experience, and that's why they follow the code. A commitment to deliver the best barbershop experience every time you visit. From check-in to the finishing touch, every step is crafted with care. No appointments needed. Just walk in, relax, and they will take it from there. All right, here we go, Tommy. Let's start with this one. Jeff Skinner will not play in the top 6 again this season. Keep it or clip it.
I'll clip it because I think at some point they'll.
You think he does? You think he
mix
weasels his
him
way
in
back
there?
in there?
Yeah.
What has to happen? Injury?
Injury would be like one of the things that thrusts him in there. But I think continued good play. And
you think there might be a reward, a cookie?
Yeah.
At the end of the stick.
If he appeases the coaching staff with his ability to play the system that the Oilers want and not kind of do his own thing, I think he could get rewarded, especially if he's chipping in offensively. So I'll clip it. I think he will get another look in the top 6. We can't just poo-poo him and say, he's garbage. He's not. He hasn't been used properly. Knobloch admitted that. He hasn't played well. He's admitted that. We've all seen it. And there's still 43 games left to be played this
still
season.
half the season.
Yeah, I think he gets back in there. And listen, he might be up and down for the next half of the season. But yeah, I could see him back in the top 6.
Number 2, Matthias Ekholm is the best thing that Ken Holland ever did. Keep it or clip it. He also brought Hyman in.
Yeah, jeez.
I mean, those are pretty much the 1-2, right? Like,
yeah, I'll keep it. I'll put Ekholm ahead of Hyman for the simple fact that it stabilized the defense for the most part. that we had been saying needed stabilization for
a
years
long time.
and years and years and years. And
Took
that's,
some off Nurse's plate.
Yes.
I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Hyman's been great. Hyman is the perfect winger for Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Like that was a home run as well. But that one was done via free agency. Like he had to pull off a trade to get his hands on Ekholm. So I'm going to say that is the best thing he ever
And
did.
Barry ended up just it. And I like Tyson. Tyson Barry's a good player still. Like I know he's not an everyday player with Calgary, but Barry was he got peak value for Barry. And Barry did nothing with Nashville, had the run-ins with Barry Trotz, and who knows what Reed Schaefer becomes.
Yeah.
And I think there was a first rounder in there as well. But Ekholm was exactly what the Oilers needed. So I'd give him the Ekholm.
I think it's got to be Ekholm. Keep it or clip it. I should get a haircut. And if I get one, I'll be going to Tommy Gunn's. But what do you think? It's getting a little long now.
I will keep it that you should clip it at Tommy Gunn's.
Yeah.
It is getting,
getting
you know,
pretty
it's
long
the
now.
sides and the back where when it gets scraggly, that's when you know.
It's starting to come out a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Maybe it's
keep it
time.
that you need to clip it over at Tommy Gunn's.
I would. Okay, so you're keeping it to clip it
At Tommy Gunn's.
at Tommy Gunn's.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah.
You don't have to
I'm trying to think of like fancy things I have to do over the next couple months. I don't really have anything on the list, like where
you
I'd
not
have to
get
go out with like
annoyed-
my hair done.
Do you not get annoyed when, like, I get annoyed when the hair starts coming
Gets
over
little
the
curlies
ears
here and stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like and then like down here, I don't like neck hair, so I've got the nice grooming tool.
I don't know. This has been the longest I think I've gone without getting my hair cut in a while, though.
Well, you've had time
And I want
off.
to go to the great experience at Tommy Gunn's, but
There's one right down the street.
I know it's right over there. All right. Well, you are a hair guy, so maybe I should take your advice.
I'm actually getting a haircut a week sooner than usual.
Why?
Because Chantal is going on holidays.
Oh my God. So you're getting an earlier haircut. How long is she going on holidays for?
Like a week and a half.
You couldn't wait till after?
No.
Wow.
I know. I'm like that. I'm like, I'd rather do it sooner, Chantal.
Wow. Maybe I shouldn't take hair advice from you. You're nuts. You're a psycho.
You're just learning this?
I am.
We've known each other for 15
Penner's Pancake
years.
says Tommy would never allow himself to have Dusty's hair on air, all fluffy and sprouting everywhere.
Penner's Pancakes is correct.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice head of hair, though.
Yes.
Like, I
and you
want to
should be
show it
happy.
off still, right? There's no, like, it's thick.
You have it.
It's like, it's not gray. It's just, and I just keep trimming it down.
That's fine.
I just let it go. Wild man.
No. I remember when you had the afro. That was weird.
Well, last night, I had a toque on while we were coaching hockey, and I got home and I was in the basement. I looked in the bathroom, and it was like, I was just like, oh no, it's coming back. It's coming back. That's a tough one. All right. I know where this market's going to come out on this, but McKinnon and Rantanen are a better 1-2 punch than McDavid and Draisaitl.
Clip it.
They won a cup, though.
Yep.
That's the only, I think that's the only argument you can make.
They're
And I wouldn't make it
elite.
even, but
just,
they're 1-3 in scoring right now.
yeah.
And if McDavid had not missed 3 games, they would all be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, they're right there. I mean,
And they've won a cup.
yes. When Edmonton and McDavid Draisaitl win one, I think that'll boost to everybody that McDavid and Draisaitl are the superior duo.
I think I like it. I don't even know how to answer this. Like, are you taking them? Like, I like the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl are centers. 1-2, boom,
Yeah.
down the middle. How are you supposed to handle this?
Exactly. Whereas one guy in Colorado is a winger and the
Yeah.
other is. But it's like the argument: who was better? Who would you rather have at the same time, like Lemieux and Yager, or Gretzky and Messier? You know, like it's like, oh my God, those are all like the best of the best. So that's a tough one. I'm admittedly partial to the guys that play here.
Rip City Step says McKinnon and McCarr maybe has an argument. And Max Pazuzu, who we met, he was in here, I think, right before Christmas.
Yeah, right. He did.
Says it's a trio in Colorado, though, which is... Yeah, so if, let's just say this. McCarr, McKinnon, Rantanen, Bouchard, McDavid, Draisaitl.
Oh, I'd go with the Avalanche guys.
McCarr swings that.
Absolutely.
He swings that pretty significantly.
Yeah.
In their favor on that one, I
Yeah.
think. All right, and this one, I guess I put this in here coming off of the Golden Globes. Nikki Glazer is the biggest comedian in the world right now.
if she clip it, I'm partial to Sebastian Maniscalco.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, he's amazing.
What's
He
his
sold
name?
out Rogers Place.
Sebastian.
Maniscalco.
What's he do? What's his shtick?
Oh,
do you know this guy,
ev-
Internet? Sebastian
so good.
Maniscalco.
Nikki Glazer, and I'm a huge Nikki Glazer fan. I'm very happy to see her having the success that she's having. When she goes on like late night talk shows, she is dirty, raunchy. She tells like great jokes. She's self-deprecating. She's a brilliant comedian. And if the Golden Globes and her hosting and doing a good job, because it's not easy being a host of any of those, there's a lot of scrutiny that comes with it. If that has catapulted her even higher, and maybe she is the biggest comedian in the world right
She
now.
was the star of the Brady roast and then turned it into hosting the Globes.
Then good for her, because I think she's absolutely fantastic. I think, if you were to, when Amy Schumer was at her peak and you go her versus Nikki Glazer, Nikki Glazer by a country mile.
I think she's funnier, but I think Schumer was bigger.
I never understood the Schumer.
I agree.
one.
I think Glazer's funnier than Schumer was, but Schumer, I think, was more popular at the time.
Now,
I think you know what? One of the reasons I think Schumer might have been more popular at the time, because there weren't that many funny male comedians even back then. Like she kind of had the spotlight all to herself almost.
yeah,
You know, like I think that might have helped elevate her a little bit, as opposed to like you're looking right now. You mentioned the guy that you mentioned,
Maniscalco.
Bill Burr's in there,
Bill Burr's
Mulaney's in there,
hilarious.
Nate Bargatze. That
Yeah.
guy's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's a funny guy. I think he's one of the funniest. So I think there's more options out there for comedians in general right now.
Yeah.
Than when Schumer was around.
And like if you're looking at strictly on the women's side, like I always liked Whitney Cummings more than Amy
She's funny.
Schumer.
Yeah, she's funny.
She's so good. And then I know these aren't stand-up comedians, but like Kristen Wiig, I think is brilliant. I think Kate McKinnon is one of the funniest.
Yeah, what has she done since she left SNL?
I don't think she needs to. She was in Barbie.
Oh, she was in Barbie.
She was in Ghostbusters. She was in a bunch of stuff. The bad Ghostbusters movie, where they wasted Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, one of the Hemsworth brothers, and Kate McKinnon. Like they had a great cast and then just blew it with that movie. Thank God that Jason Reitman came in. Anyway. Nikki Glazer's been hilarious. I think I first caught wind of her like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's great. So
I love the roasts, so I became familiar with her via other roasts, even before the Brady roast. I was like, man, this chick is funny. She's hilarious.
And you have to hear her do like a story time with Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel, and you're just like, oh my.
Statue Boss Production says Anthony Jeselnik makes me laugh. He's funny too.
Yeah.
He's dark, but he's funny. He's really funny. Anyway, Glazer, I think she's up there. I think right now
very
she's up
happy
there. I
for
do
her.
think she is. She's pretty damn funny, man. She's had a pretty good run lately.
You want to know a sneaky good comedian that I think gets looked over quite a bit is Kyle Dunnigan.
Kyle Dunnigan.
Yeah. He does this one character named Craig where you're just like, is this for real? And he's a really good impressionist too. But and then he does these weird skits where he has like really bad deep fakes, and he does it on his Instagram. I think Kyle Dunnigan's really good for a kind of guy that's like not like A-list, but like a B-list comedian.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah.
All right, that is going to do it for the Oil Stream. We got EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager coming up here on TuneIn, on iHeart, at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and of course over on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, just turn on autoplay. That'll take you right on over to EST Afternoons as soon as they fire it up. Tommy's still in the chat trashing Ghostbusters 2016.
Awful.
I love your commitment to it, man. That's great. Good to be back. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, too.
All right.
That's going to do it for the Oil Stream, brought to you by our great partners at Boston Pizza, where the entire month is Pasta Tuesday. Not a bad idea. For Tom Gazzola, I'm Dustin Nielson. Stick around for EST Afternoons. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock on The Nielson Show.